Yo, what's going on, guys? Rhys here from Stoic Pool, and in this episode of Catalyst Talk, I sit down with Session Cruz from DEMU, who's talking about getting music and streaming on the blockchain. This is a really exciting conversation. The guy is just fun, right? He's just a fun guy. He's got a really interesting story. He's been up to loads of crazy stuff. Yeah, I really like the guy. I really like what he's working on. It sounds like he's got a very good foothold in the industry already. And so you can use those connections to really bring his project to life, which I am super excited about. Honestly, you're going to love this. Definitely vote for him in Catalyst Fund 8. You gotta vote right now. So without any further ado, let's get into it. Right, guys, so I'm joined with Session Cruz here today to talk about his decentralized music platform. So Session Cruz, do you just want to introduce yourself and kind of introduce the proposal and kind of what you're working on? That'd be great.
Right. Yeah. So, my name is Session Cruz, and I have a Project Catalyst Fund 8 proposal for a decentralized music platform on Cardano. So, the macro goal is to build a platform or a suite of tools for the music professional to easily enter Web3. So that's kind of like the overall.
Beautifully succinct. Love it.
Right. No, we'll go deeper, but I just gotta.
No, that was perfect. So, you've been working in the music industry for a while. That's right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So what do you used to do? Or what do you do?
So it was like music industry adjacent, I would say. So
you used to hustle bootleg CDs and T-shirts and
that was in my past life. Funny enough, because my name is Session because I used to be a rapper. I used to rap, and I was signed to a deal. I went on national tour. I did all that, right? So it was legit, but that was in my 20s. I'm 40 now. So somewhere around 30 years old, that wasn't working out for me, the music part. I didn't want to be an old rapper. So a friend of mine was a music video director and needed girls for a music video. I was
so
unemployed.
Called up Session, shake your butt for us.
I was unemployed. I was unemployed at the time, and I said, "Hey, I'll help you get some girls for your music video." I thought that would entail going to an agency, picking out the girls, and booking them for the video. And I helped my friend out. I realized quickly that there was no agency for the type of women models that they wanted, the curvier hip hop model, right? And so then I built it. First of all, that video was Lloyd Banks and Jewel Santana, Beamer, Benz, and Bentley, it's a G Unit. Okay. It was that video. And so that was my start. After that, I ended up building one of the bigger hip hop modeling, casting agencies in the game. 5 years from that point, I was casting videos for the who's who, Jay-Z, Kanye, Eminem, Drake, Lil Wayne, Rick Ross, anyone. Have a dartboard full of names and just throw random darts, and I probably casted a video for one of them. So,
what about Pharaoh?
I don't know. Oh, Pharaoh Monch?
Pharaoh Monch, yeah.
Yeah, I know Pharaoh Monch. Yeah,
no. You do anything for him?
That was actually, he was before my time,
That would have been cool. We could have been mates if you'd done something with Pharaoh, but
it was before my time. I was still trying to rap when he was rapping, when he was doing his thing. But so that journey led me to one day I casted the video for a birthday song, 2 Chainz and Kanye West. All I want for my birthday is a big booty girl. I casted that video, and at the end of the shoot, someone from Kanye's team plucked me to the side and said, "Hey, Kanye's working on a secret project. He would, like your services." The project ended up being Yeezy, his fashion line. And he was also interested in using models that were curvier, that weren't the European standard of beauty, the 6 foot tall, that's what he was looking for. And so I was perfectly positioned after 5 years of casting music videos for that look, right? And so then I concurrent to the video casting timeline, I then start working with Kanye, booking talent for lookbooks, the fashion shows, photo shoots, marketing campaigns, live performances, etc. Right, a whole bunch of stuff, and that work led me to then work with his wife, Kim Kardashian, on her KKW company, right? Her line of products, from the shapewear line. I was called Kimono at first. Now it's called Skims, the shapewear line, to her perfumes, her makeup, and all that. And another thing, funny thing happened with concurrent to that timeline. These girls who I was casting for music videos, Instagram came along and allowed them to establish themselves as influencers now, right? So what started as music videos, producers, artists, managers reaching out to me for girls for music videos ended up being brands, Fashion Nova, Pretty Little Thing, e-com giants now.
Wow.
That started reaching out to get these same girls to broadcast their product or service, right?
Yeah.
And that's kind of the work that I was doing with Kim Kardashian and Kanye anyway. They actually allowed me to amass an even greater list of female beauty influencers and bloggers. So now it numbers, last I counted, I don't know, the numbers go up, but last I counted, I have a Rolodex of over 300 female beauty blogger influencers on Instagram, specifically, primarily, with 150 million followers in aggregate.
Wow. That's all right, isn't it?
Yeah. So anyway, to answer your question more directly, right? As I said in the beginning, it's kind of music industry adjacent, right?
Yeah.
Not right. And but when you know all the pretty women, you know everybody else, right? They all want to be your friend, right? Yeah. So that's how I was able to establish and maintain relationships with artists, managers, record labels. Like I'm the agency on record of many record labels, right? For casting work, so that allowed me to get in the door, meet people. And, I'm really an entrepreneur. I'm not a fashionista. I'm not a casting agent, right? I'm an entrepreneur, right? And so that allowed me to kind of have other conversations about other things, right? And so now
do you have any space for a gymnast?
Excuse me?
Do you have any space in your Rolodex for a gymnast?
Well, if a music video needs it or some kind of production needs it, yes. There's always room for talent.
You'll have to ship me over, but we can figure something out, I'm sure. Mate, that's amazing. That's actually crazy. I didn't know that, right? That's blown my mind a little bit.
Thank you. Yeah, in the beginning, when I first came into the space in Cardano, I tried to say some of that, to try to get early, attention on my proposal, but I probably end up looking like a bullshitter, but it's 100% true. Everything.
The thing is, right, a lot of the space is tech guys, so a lot of them probably, they probably know some of the artists, but they probably aren't that interested. You know what I mean? Like they want to talk about, like smart contracts and scripts and like systems administration, to them, that's exciting.
Right.
So I kind of get why that wouldn't, I kind of get why that might fall flat a little bit, But I mean, that's a pretty incredible journey. If only you had Pharaoh, right? If only you had Pharaoh. That's such a shame.
Right. My life is all I have. I would have loved to cast that
that's
video.
a tune as well. Most people think Simon Says.
That one on the resume.
Mate, that would be amazing. I love Pharaoh. He's like one of my...
But I got Hotline Bling.
That's a bit of a banger, isn't it? That's classic. That.
I got a bunch of bangers on the.
I bet you do. I bet you do, mate. What a legend! I had no idea about that. That's really cool. Okay, cool. So you were rapping, then you became an agent, essentially.
Correct.
Cool. And now we're moving on to the next phase, right?
Correct.
So let's talk a little bit about
a couple failures in the middle in there somewhere, right? But whatever, as an entrepreneur.
Yeah. That's normal, right? That's normal.
Right. A lot of lessons learned.
How does the decentralized music platform kind of come into play? Like, where did that come from?
So in August, it's COVID, right? And a lot of productions have died down. So my money is dried up. And I start looking into Web3. I speak to myself, Session, you're a smart guy. Don't let Web3, don't let this blockchain stuff intimidate you. Learn that shit, right?
That's basically what I did as well, right? That's it.
Right, like
That's
learn
hilarious.
it. Like, come on, like take some time and really absorb what all this stuff is about, right? Because I knew I was capable of learning it. And so I did. And in August, I had the aha, or early August, and this timeline is crucial for my story. Early August, I got this aha moment of Web3, the promise of Web3, and then this artist Tory Lanez, August 10th, he drops an NFT rap album, and it was successful. He sold out 1 million copies at $1 a piece, but there was the experience, the user experience wasn't there. That NFT album to this day is siloed in a obscure blockchain, in a wallet that I must now access every time I want to listen to that album. And I thought that I can't take this music with me. I can't play it where I want, where the music should be finding where I'm at, not where I have to go find the music. The music should be where find me. And so I should be able to play it from anywhere is what I'm saying. And
no, you're right. You're absolutely right.
And so so then I started thinking about how I can apply this Web3 to the music business in this way. And then, like I said, this timeline is important. I'm an entrepreneur, and I had like 2 failures before I started this. But so I'm thinking to myself, Session, don't beat your head against the wall. Changing the entire music business is just too big of a nut to crack, right? Chill out with this one. This was a great idea, but maybe, too much. Then my friend of 20 years, who I used to rap with back in the full circle here now, full circle moment, we were signed to the same independent record label back in the day when I was on tour. He's from LA. When I was on tour in the West Coast, I sleep on his couch. He becomes the CEO and chairman of Def Jam Records.
Oh, wow.
A legendary hip hop record label. And for those who don't know what Def Jam is, they're responsible for who's who, Jay-Z, DMX, LL Cool J, Beastie Boys. and now, right now, Kanye West, Justin Bieber, that's who they have now, right? Rihanna. I mean, I can keep going here. Ja Rule. I mean, ugh. So he becomes the CEO and chairman of Def Jam Records. The person who appointed him to that position was the CEO and chairman of the Universal Music Group, Sir Lucian Grange. Right? So one of the most powerful men in music made my friend the CEO of one of his subsidiary record labels, Def Jam, right?
Yeah.
That's the thing. That's the tree, right? And so this idea just became much more doable.
Yeah, yep.
And now I'm like, oh shit. A week later, I text him. A week later, we're having dinner. Mind you, that the press release announced his his promotion, but he didn't start till January 1st of this year, 2022. So this was so we still had very many months to kind of game plan and think about everything. Anyway, so there's that gave me the energy to really pursue this full time. And I didn't break down, like I gave you a very succinct pitch of what the macro goal of my platform is. And that's just a suite of tools that the music professional can use to enter Web3 easily. And even by tools, I can make that more real. Tools such as minting NFTs, creating social tokens, fractionalizing NFTs, event ticketing. These are examples of different tools that actually other music blockchain startups are springing up whole startups just focused on that one tool, right? Well, I feel like these tools should all communicate with one another under one platform. I don't think any music professional is going to want to, have these disparate tools, all over the place. I think they should be under one dashboard. So the first tool that I want to build is direct-to-consumer music streaming, right? So it'll work like a jukebox. Pay a token, play a song with all royalties auto-distributed to all the contributors of the song directly, right?
Yeah.
Using smart contract technology.
Easy enough to do,
Right. So it's this idea of eliminating middlemen out of the infrastructure of the business of music, right? Your Spotify's, your ASCAPs, your BMIs, the people whose jobs it is to distribute the royalties and take a cut for themselves for the service, right?
Yeah.
Spotify obviously plays more of a role than just distributing royalties, but you get what I'm saying. But they're not necessary, right, anymore. In Web 2, they were, right? In Web 3, they're not. But automating royalties is the major innovation that I'm bringing, right? Yeah. It's not music streaming. That's the consumer facing side, right? The jukebox and playing music. But it's this idea of automating music streaming for the artist, for the record label, for those in the business of music. That is the innovation, right? And so with this core capability to automate those royalties, you can do to the rights holders, you can do all sorts of cool stuff now, right? You can now build these tools and right? Anyway, so an example is we can now legally, right, play this music in all the digital spaces, right? Such as the Metaverse, social networks like TikTok, right? By creating a pipeline between like in this example, maybe Metaverse and the rights holders of the music. For a virtual nightclub in the Metaverse is going to be boring if I don't have popular music to listen to in that virtual nightclub, right? And so there needs to be an infrastructure in place for that Metaverse to be able to play the music legally and compensate all rights holders of that music for such uses.
Yeah, of course.
Right? And so that's what I'm hoping to build, to connect music, integrate music to various digital spaces like metaverses, like TikTok, who use music, overlay music on their videos, right? And so there should be a pipeline to pay for those royalties. They're called micro sync royalties, right? Yeah. And those imagine a pipeline that pays that out, right? I believe this platform that we're building, right, starting with this first tool, can become a huge utility for musicians, right? Which will result in an influx of users to Cardano, right? And especially we get the major labels to start managing their entire catalog of music. Managing it and offering it directly to the consumer, right? For them to be their own Spotify. And I've been getting a lot of criticism for my focus on major record labels. And that's because I have a contact to them. And so I feel like that's a low hanging fruit to me. But this suite of tools is available for all musicians who want to spin up their own record label, right? The goal for any, I get a lot of criticism why I focus on the major label. The goal of any independent artist or any entrepreneur who wants to create their own record label is to become a major label, right? Yeah. So do I suddenly become evil because I was successful, right? Like,
no, what you're trying to do is onboard the big boys, right? You're trying to get all the big players in. And if you have access to that.
It validates the platform and it validates Cardano, and it also brings, with the major players, like I said, using, becoming their own Spotify, right? Being empowered to do so by Web3 technology via Cardano, right? It'll be this influx. They'll funnel an influx of users to Cardano, which will thus increase the value of Cardano, which is good for everyone on Cardano.
Absolutely.
Right? So and so I do make a compelling case on my proposal for lowering the biggest record companies in the world to Cardano this way. But if you don't care about that, if you're anti-establishment or anti-corporations or whatever, cool. This platform is still for the indie artists as well, and all artists all across the world. I envision artists in Africa to now be able to connect to a global music marketplace and be able to support their community in the same way that hip hop supported the inner city community, right? People like myself, right? I come from the inner city, and I was empowered by hip hop to become my own entrepreneur, to support my family, my friends, my immediate community. And it gives me goosebumps to think that I can pay it forward and do the same for artists in Africa, for artists in Latin America, for artists in all developing countries, to connect this to a worldwide music global marketplace on Cardano. Anyway, I'll let you get in another question.
We'll catch you next week, guys. Have a good one. Yeah. Mate, no, I like it. Yeah, it's powerful stuff. It's powerful stuff, you know. Like I remember I did music production in uni. And so I grew up it was just before like Spotify and CD Baby and all those kinds of things kind of took over. So where it wasn't easy to like set up your or release your own music. And so when I was going through uni, I was just like, me and my mates, we were like, let's set up a label. We had artwork, we had stuff designed, but because we spent all our money on like Crow, we basically never had any cash for by paying for the business, you know, like launching the business and making it official. So obviously that kind of fell by the wayside when I started going out raving and stuff like that after uni, basically. So it never really ended up happening. But like then a couple of years later, when I kind of got a job this construction company, I then discovered like what had happened in the music scene, like since I'd kind of been away or just like enjoying it as kind of a user of music rather than as a creator, you know? And so, so I really felt like I missed out on that little gap, you know. If I was focused there and I understood things how I understand them now, I would have been ready for it and bam, you know, and I probably wouldn't be where I am right now, let's be honest, but I'd probably be somewhere else, like in probably a bad way. But it would have been really cool.
I resonate with what you're saying there, with your story there, because I think I'm 40 now, right? I lived through the internet transforming the music industry. I've seen this happen. I've seen this story. I've read the story before. Right. Yeah. And so I feel like I'm more uniquely, you know, positioned through this experience to introduce this new way. Right. Because blockchain is going to do the same. Web3 is going to do the same for music to what the internet did, what Web 2 or I guess Web 1 at that point, what that did to the music business. And the music business was caught flat-footed then. And that's why another motivation of mine is building this platform before another entity builds something similar, but with the goal of inserting themselves as the new middleman. I have no such aspiration to insert this thing as the new middleman. I seek to empower the artists and the record labels, not to be the new middleman that they must now report to, right? So that's kind of you know, my philosophy, right? That's how I'm approaching it, to kind of help the music industry, independent and the majors, to kind of get ahead of this innovation, and so that in a way that before someone else comes, builds it and exploits them again.
Because that'll happen. Like that will happen if one of the major labels or like Universal or something like that don't do it themselves, which will, let's face it, it'll probably take a couple of years for them to mobilize and actually figure that stuff out for themselves. Yeah.
To even catch up, it's going to take a couple of years for sure.
But if no one's done it in the meantime, then they will just they would take over, you know, because they have the power to do that kind of thing. They have that influence and that kind of sway in the industry. So yeah, I mean, you're talking about making tools for people to use rather than creating like a kind of SaaS product, you know, where you kind of just you rent this space off me essentially, and I take the winnings. So that's awesome. Right. That's amazing, mate. This is really exciting, right? Because I think the first time I kind of crossed paths with you was in Idea Fest for Fund 7, like the first one. And,
Fund 6 you mean then? You're talking about Fund 6 because I actually
No, it was the first one for me. It was the first one for me. You were coming back. So it was your second time round. Yeah.
Got it.
Sorry, I was speaking selfishly, all right? So shut up.
Right.
No, but yeah, so and we were in the same breakout room, right? And I was talking about I think I was talking about NFT Pass, like the ticketing solution. And then you come on with your music thing. And the first time round, I don't know if it wasn't that it maybe it wasn't very well explained, or maybe I just made assumptions about it and then kind of didn't listen anymore, But for me, it sounded like you were just trying to create Spotify on the blockchain. But what you're actually saying is you're trying to create the infrastructure behind Spotify so that everything is done cheaper and for the user, and then better, like there's more money then available for the artists, for the labels, rather than, like you say, middlemen taking their 40-50% or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's my bad. I was making assumptions about it, but it's so much clearer now.
I found.
Yeah. And like the thing is, right, that's our own opinions. And also partially probably that you just use the wrong words, right? And whereas like now, you explaining it to me now, maybe it's also just having a one-to-one conversation. It's so much clearer. Like what you're actually building makes a lot more sense, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Tell me about these tools.
Yeah. So and let me drop some knowledge on you. Speaking on the Spotify and the the real value, because I know a lot of the listeners are probably going to be asking, why would I pay per token when Spotify provides such a great service? $9.99. I listen to all the music I want in the world. Mm-hmm. They have a point, right? But this kind of blows people's minds. So Spotify on average pays 0.003 or a third of a penny per stream to artists.
It was less. Right? I thought it was less. I thought there was another zero in there.
Actually, that's on average, right? So established artists, Drake and all them, they'll get paid more. Yeah. But you're right, add an extra zero there for the independent artists. Yeah. Right. So, but on average, 0.0. I'm glad you brought that up. I kind of gloss over that because it's like too much to explain. But you're spot on. But on average, 0.003 though, right? And so there was a study done. A music industry publication that showed that on average, the global music streaming listener listens to about 320 songs a month. I actually listen to less. I pay $9.99 a month and I listen to less than 320, but 320 is the average. Well, if you do the math, if I could pay direct to the consumer, that basically means I'm paying $9.99 a month to listen to about 96 cents worth of music if I'm the average global music streaming listener, right? If I could pay directly to the artist, right? Yeah. So I think that's pretty compelling, right? 96 cents. And so another benefit of this platform is, Spotify, another thing I don't like about Spotify, a lot of people don't like is that they and advertisers dictate a price for the music that they did not help to create, right? They tell you what this art is worth. Yeah. And so with our platform, artists and record labels will be able to determine the price of the stream, right? So they could triple the cost of the stream to a penny, more than triple, really. And still the listener would be paying $3.20 a month, right? 320 times a penny, $3.20 a month. So it's cheaper for the user and it's better for the artist, right? They make more money and the user is directly supporting the artist. Which I think is pretty cool too.
Yeah. Right? And you think anyone who's like into their music, and so that's like anything above the average listener, right? Cares more about supporting artists. Like you think of artists that you love. There's a couple of artists, right, who just mean the world to you. You never met them, but you listen to their music and it matters to you. Their songs matter to you. You resonate with everything that's in their tracks, like the lyrics, the sounds, like everything that's going on, the kind of story behind it all. And they never meet you, but the artist so intimately, and to be able to just fund them directly is like, it's really powerful. And I think that's amazing. That's something that will really bring users to the platform as well, because a lot of people who are into music who will be actually paying more for that service, probably closer to the $9.99, which is little to nothing in the global scheme of things,
they get more for their money.
To do that. Yeah,
they'd get more for their money to spend that $9.99 directly with the artist, because now that's another case I make in my proposal, is that this enriches the experience of being a fan, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Because now artists can imbue different certain properties to NFTs that they'll sell to their fans. I'm skipping a point here, and that point is, some people will probably think, hey, but what if I love this artist? I don't want to pay every single time I play them a lot. Maybe they do play them 1,000 times a month, even though, by the way, to get to $9.99, you'd have to play 3,333 songs in a month, which is about 2 weeks of music nonstop playing, nonstop playing day and night. You're just not doing it, right? Most people are not doing that. But let's say you are. The next phase of this platform, the next tool, is the ability for artists to mint NFTs and then sell them as albums, right? So I think the idea of selling the $1,000 music NFT is not scalable. No one's doing that, right? I think it's going to be in the future. It's going to be more, like how an album used to cost $10,
like
$15,
right? $10 an album, and you keep it.
And then you can have, different tiers. Maybe you have a gold NFT and it has more perks in it that you can imbue in it. And maybe that's
comes
a $30.
With a video.
Yeah, it comes with cooler stuff. But the point is that for those power users, they can support the artist deeper by buying this NFT, right? And now when they connect their digital wallet to the music player, when they play that artist, that song, the player will read that you own the album and thus grant you the right to play the music without paying those artists royalties anymore, because you bought the album, right? So now you don't even, now you're not paying per stream. That answers the question. You stream 1,000 times, that artist, you love them that much, buy the NFT then, right? Right. And so now it brings back the idea, that the concept of the album sale, something that Spotify, Tidal, Apple Music have decimated. Right. Yeah. And so now we can kind of, reincarnate this second revenue stream. Right. Yeah. So now it's not just streaming. It's NFT sales now. Right. And like I said, now there's so many different perks that you can imbue, ticketing. And that's why it's important to have all this under one platform. Right. Because
and you can special edition stuff as well. Like what you're talking about there reminds me of when Frank Ocean did his limited release album. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was like a video, and there was like a book that he made with it. And he basically just did a pop-up store out of nowhere in like LA, I think it was. I think he just did it like on the street or something. Yeah. And that was crazy, but it's very difficult to do, it's very, very difficult to coordinate. But when you can do it digitally, it's so much easier, and you can do stuff in a very limited run like that, where there's like 1,000 of them, or you can do it where there's 10, or you can do it where there's 1 million. It doesn't matter. You've got a lot more flexibility. It's very easy to kind of implement things like that, and people want it as well. That's the thing. Like the streaming for music has kind of destroyed the interaction between artists and users, whereas and listeners, sorry, because before there was something palpable, right? You have the album, you like own a bit. It comes with a little booklet. Sometimes it has the lyrics. Sometimes it has some other stuff. And you feel that, that's a part of it, part of the experience. And streaming it can be seen as a good thing. It can be seen as a bad thing. There's both sides of the coin, obviously.
It had its uses. It had its value for sure.
Yeah. Of course. But it definitely has very big problems with it in terms of like reimbursement for artists and actually helping people kind of sustain their life off of their music and or anything else that they're creating. And this is an easy way to kind of bridge that gap and kind of bring the power back to the artist, which is pretty amazing.
Thank you, man. Thank you. So yeah, man. So I'm really excited about that, and about building all this. And I kind of want to touch on. And I think I'm trying to anticipate. I have PTSD, I guess, or something. All these failures, Fund 6 and Fund 7. I kind of anticipating already some of the questions that a viewer might have, right? And I know one of the questions is, what's your tech team, right? Because I'm a non-technical person, if you didn't know, right? But I did do the homework, and I understand this from top to bottom, and I can answer any question, right? But I've also done the work to recruit such a team, right? And so the first team that I was able to successfully recruit was Gimbal Labs. And for those who don't, for those Gimbal who don't know, Gimbal Labs, you know, they're well known in the Cardano community, well-known developers and educators in the Cardano community who have already contributed to the ecosystem and continue to do so. And so, you know, I started attending their weekly, you know, meetups, their Zoom calls, learned a lot from these guys, and was comfortable enough after a few months to pitch this idea, and they loved it. And I was able to, I managed to recruit some senior, you know, level members of Gimbal Labs to build a proof of concept. So now in Fund 8, that's another thing that helped me, aside from my writing improvement, right? You know, me finally giving some of the secret sauce away, but through feedback, right? But also I have the Gimbal Labs team now, Randall Harmon, James Dunseith, these guys, Peter, to build a proof of concept. And this proof of concept is meant for me to, one, showcase that, you know, our capability to develop on the blockchain, right, on Cardano, but two, to better explain this to the layman, right? They're going to see, when they see this proof of concept, they're going to see that tokens are used to play a song, and when they play this, and then the song gets played, and then on the back end, on the Cardano testnet, you'll see that those tokens were redistributed to 3 wallets. So these 3 wallets could be your artist, your producer, your songwriter, your record label, whatever, right? Whatever you want to assign to those 3 wallets. The point is that the tokens, which can represent real value, were redistributed automatically upon playing that song. And that's kind of the real core proof of concept of the jukebox, right? The first tool on our platform, you know. So I was able to get that done, and that's on the a Project Catalyst proposal that I'm hoping to get votes from. Yeah,
you've got that video on it. Is that what that is? I haven't had a chance to check that out, but that's explaining the process.
Correct. That's what that is.
There'll be a link below to that, by the way, guys. So definitely go and check that out and check it out. See what's going on, understand the tech, check out the proposal properly. All right, because there's a lot of depth to this, and we're talking quite high level right now, right? Because I'm super excited about it.
Right. And the other thing I want to say, just to any viewers that are interested in kind of knowing more, or maybe even joining us, you know, I've been learning a lot, especially from Gimbal Labs, about the concept of building this up in a decentralized fashion, right? Where all contributors will own shares in this protocol platform that we build together. So to that end, Gimbal Labs is the first group of developers who I managed to recruit, but ADAO is now a second, right? They're very interested in this. I've spoken to TCT. I have his support, and so now we have a second group, and I want to keep that going, right? You know, I like I said, running for mayor, I'm reaching out to various groups, right? I got the CEO of Sunday Swap to join us as an advisor, right? Mickey Watkins, the CEO of World Mobile, he loves the idea that I pitched to him of preloading this music player on their mobile devices that they're going to distribute to the newly connected citizens of Africa, right? You know, and what, you know, these newly connected people need something to do, right? When the iPhone came out, it was music, right? That was the first use case. You know, so that's kind of the role I see myself playing, right? This, you know, role to kind of like bring everything together. But yeah, so anyone hearing this that want to contribute, you know, reach out, you know, Session_Cruz on Twitter. And, you know, this, I'm interested in exploring this. And so ADAO is helping me to create the framework so that we can all collaborate together and kind of be compensated for our contributions to building this platform. Yeah,
the Gimbal Labs and ADAO are both really, really great communities of people who just kind of want to help build the ecosystem. You know, they just want to kind of play their part in creating and developing the ecosystem, which is I interviewed them ADAO the other week. They're both great. I know a bunch of them already, right? And because I did some work with them before. I kind of just joined and then started talking to them in a call. And then I was like, right, well, let's do it now, And so literally on the call, like we were just wireframing a bunch of the the web app kind of stuff that they've got. It's
exciting. Their work is really exciting. They have a Project Catalyst proposal as well that people should check out. They should also be supported. That's this journey of mine, Rhys, has. I mean, first of all, I'm becoming a damn near Cardano Maxie. Like, it's not just this idea and this opportunity that I have, right? That I'm building, but in learning, in researching, I love Cardano in the community, and this to me, this is not the first project that I want to. I see other people build. I became a CA this time on Fund A, and so I'm reading proposals. I'm like, whoa! I mean, there's so much going on. And it's all very exciting, and I want to help where I can, right? Because I have connections, I have capabilities that some people don't, right? But that's the game of the game. Let's all join forces. We all have a position to play, and I want to play mine, And so these ideas of these DAOs and stuff like that, it's super exciting.
Yeah, I come from the exact same perspective as you as well. Like, the more I've got involved in Catalyst, I like even just interviewing people like yourself who have some proposals, or talking to other people about mine, even, and like now I'm a circle rep as well. So I'm using this as a way to help other people get funded, and I see that as a role that I can play because I have connections with like the Stoic Pool community, and I have connections with like other communities like the DAO guys and stuff like that, who are all ready to help everyone. It's like everyone just works together.
Amazing.
It's just madness. Like, it's like, when people when we were like probably when we were both quite a bit younger and used to think about like what it could be like, and I remember when I was like a kid and I'd be like, oh my God, like everything's so backwards. Everyone just wants to take off everyone, and everyone's trying to like use each other to kind of get their own way, and kind of push themselves forward. And that, like, since I've been part of Cardano, it's literally the opposite of that,
opposite.
And it's so good because it matches how I am, right? Exactly. And so I can kind of just come in and be like, oh, dude, I know this guy. Like, you messaged me on Twitter, right? And like, you messaged me on Twitter. These guys, Session messaged me last night, right? Messaged me last night. And it was like 12:30 or something. I'd just been on Epoch's end, like just listening to Guru and that. I know a lot of those guys, so I was listening to what they've been up to, and Session just messaged me. I already knew who he was. Like, we just never sat down and had a proper conversation together,
Right.
And I was like, oh yeah, you need to talk to this guy. You need to talk to this guy. Like, these proposals, This guy's really cool. I'll set you up. Here's his Twitter handle. He's like, yeah, I know that guy. We've been doing this. We're working on that thing. I'm like, oh man, you got it. On it. Yeah, and that's
I'm running for mayor out here, Rhys. I'm running for mayor.
Yeah. Mate, I'd vote for you. I think you got a great, like, you just got a great energy, and that's really powerful stuff, because you can, aside from just having some connections in the music industry, like, you can just bring people together and kind of rally people behind a vision. And I think that's a lot of that kind of stuff is missing in the blockchain, just because a lot of the people who do that kind of thing usually aren't really working on much. They're trying to shill projects instead, right? And they're trying to make money. Like, I'm talking like TA, YouTube influencers and stuff like that, and like, fair play to them. Do what you got to do, that's okay. I don't hate anyone for that. But you bring that energy and you kind of bring that vibe and the kind of philosophy of like collaboration and working together and like the rising tide, right? And that's what I get from you, like, which is really, really cool. And that's going to help. I mean, that's obviously why you've kind of got where you are in the first place, and it's definitely going to help project you further, especially in crypto.
Awesome.
It's amazing.
I hope so. Thank you for the kind words, for sure. But yeah, I mean, I love it. I love this open, like you said, a high tide lifts all boats. So it's like, let's all contribute together. And I want to help other people out with their projects. I mean, I love being innovative. I love doing stuff that, I love working on projects that, are on the cutting edge. And so, that's that's where the passion is forged, right? It's at the cutting edge.
It's exciting, mate. It is exciting, right? Man, I really wish you all the best, because I want to see this thing through as well. So just before we start to close things out, how much are you asking for in your proposal?
So I'm asking for $100,000 to get us going to the next step.
Yep.
I understand that building a whole platform, 100,000 isn't enough, but I believe that it'll get us to a point where we can have a working MVP where, music can be streamed and you can pay for it per token. And that's kind of what we're hoping to get to.
And that's kind of what you need to take it to the next level, right? You need that MVP. You need something that you can take to labels and go, look, you want to integrate. You're all thinking about Web3 because they all are. You're all thinking about Web3. You're all trying to figure this stuff out. I've got it. And that's kind of, you'll just have the right tool to bring it to them and go, look, this is how it works. This is how we do it. This is why it's going to benefit you. Forget about all the SaaS stuff that you've been using.
I've already started dude, like I said, the CEO of Def Jam, he's my friend, and he already connected me to the SVP of digital at Def Jam on this. And so I've already begun the groundwork by explaining, because they're exploring it, but their reality is Ethereum right now. And so you should see in his email where I wrote to her, educating her on the differences between object-oriented programming languages that like Ethereum and the like are based on, and functional programming that Cardano is based on, and why a whole record label industry might want the functional programming language versus the object-oriented ones, right? And then I even showed the recent Ronin hack, like, see? Right? Like, see? And so because they think they know something because, they've been to a conference and heard about Ethereum, right? But I'm trying to educate them that, no, there's a version 3 coming down the line. And this is why you should pay attention to this, So I've begun these conversations to educate those that need to be educated.
Yeah, no, I think, bang on, right? Bang on. It's so easy. Everyone is thinking Ethereum, right? Because everyone knows about Bitcoin, and then they understand that Ethereum has all these tools. And so everyone just thinks Ethereum and assumes Ethereum. But actually the use case for Ethereum is very limited because it's so expensive and it's time consuming. And, you might say that it was kind of dangerous, right? And kind of risky, which,
I could have kept going I could have kept going with the accounting model versus UTXO, all this other stuff that I know. But I think that point, that functional programming language protects their interests more than this. I think that's the point to drive home. You know what I'm saying, for them. Yeah, you need to approach it from the way that they think, And I think just from your experience, that's a lot easier for you than anyone else, right? Which is good. That's a good thing. You're the right guy for the job. That's what I'm getting at, right? So I mean, 100,000. That's very reasonable. I think it's not even that much money. Like a lot of people. A lot of people hear numbers like that and think, but things cost a lot of money. Like stuff costs money, and people need to be paid for their work as well, and that's important, right? To see something through, because and another thing, just to kind of validate that ask, in Fund 6 and Fund 7, I was asking for $50,000, didn't get it, but still continued to do the work that produced the proof of concept. That 50,000 would have funded, right? And so I feel, since we already have it, let's fund the next step with 100 grand now, and the budget is bigger.
There's no justification for it, I'm not questioning the number at all. I'm just saying, stuff like it is expensive, and you're right. You've been grinding at this for a very long time, like close to a year at this point. It's been a while, and so that's out of your own pocket as well, and Definitely. All the time and energy you put into it, and it's very easy to forget about that. But that's actually very important as well, and deserves to be reimbursed to some extent, from my perspective.
Especially if it's a good project, if it's a good
project. And it's not stopping. No, just because you didn't get funded before, you haven't just gone, oh, well, that's not going to work. You're like, right, let's come back and let's smash it out, which again, just shows how important it is to you and how much you actually believe in your proposal, right? Which is important as well.
Thank you.
So, is there anything else? Is there anything else that I haven't asked you, or something you want to bring up, or anything in particular, anything that springs to mind?
Nah, check out my Project Catalyst proposal and check it out. please vote April 14th. If you haven't registered to vote, please do so before April 7th.
Yeah.
And you can register to vote through your wallet, Daedalus, Nami. I think Nami. I registered through Daedalus. I'm not sure what are the other wallets that can register. You can register through
Daedalus, Yoroi, CC. Well, Eternal now, isn't it? Yeah, but that
Eternal,
definitely
right.
you can. I haven't used Nami, but I assume you can. You should be able to, right? It's quite an important part of the wallet, I think, registering to vote.
Right. So register to vote by April 7th so that you can vote on April 14th for any of the proposals that you see fit, for sure. There's a bunch of great ones in there. So
yeah,
I'm excited.
Yeah. So you promised me that you were a rap artist, right? So let's talk about that quickly, right? Let's talk about that.
Oh my God.
So tell me about the kind of music you were making. Can we access any? Can we put any links in the video? Is there any tunes you've got out?
I mean, it was, I was on some hip hop stuff, I'm a little more cleaned up now than I was back then, with some street music. And I just don't want people to even, I swear a lot. I promise violence a lot.
Yeah,
all that type of stuff. So it was an old version of me. It was a 20-year-old version of me. So it's hidden. I don't want no one to see. And I like that. I like that if you tried to Google, you could probably find it if you knew where to look.
I'm not going to go hunting for something if it's not easily available because
but it's on Apple Music and everything.
That's up to you, right?
It's on Apple Music, it's on all that stuff. But that was the old me.
Okay, so what music are you listening to now?
Who am I? I mean, now I'm listening to, I still listen to old school music. I mean, for me, I feel old now even saying that. But, for me, old Jay-Z, Nas, I love the Fugees. The Fugees is classic. If all you young people who don't know about the Score, the album, The Score, need to listen to that one. I love Capone Noriega, The War Report. I'm real street, hip hop. Mobb Deep. Love Mobb Deep. You should, early late 90s, early 2000s hip hop. 50 Cent is a classic. So yeah. Word.
So are there any artists like around your area? You're around New York, aren't you? Any artists like that coming up, or do you keep track of the local music scene at all?
Not really, but there is this new artist. His name is Blackway. I am Blackway. And on Instagram, if you guys are interested, I am Blackway.
I thought that was a confession then.
I am Blackway, and he's really talented. And actually, I was trying to, the Def Jam CEO friend of mine is interested in signing him. So, he's really talented. He's on the mix of T-Pain, something like a T-Pain vibes, but with like West Africa, like
like a dancehall-y kind of vibe, Afrobeat-y kind of vibe. Nice.
That type of vibe. He's real dope. So he's out of Long Island, New York. I listen to him. So yeah. Fun fact, Fabulous, the rapper Fabulous, and the New York City legend, he's a friend of mine, and I started talking to him about this platform, and I got him super engaged in the conversation. So maybe I can get him to Cardano. So we'll see. It looks like the Clay Nation already beat me to Snoop Dogg.
Yeah, they kind of did, didn't they?
They beat me to it because I was working that, because Snoop Dogg is also, I believe he's a consultant at Def Jam, and I was totally working that angle.
I wouldn't be surprised. Because he again is one of the kind of legendary hip hop artists that all came up with all the same guys. They were all on Def Jam, all like working together and collaborating. So I wouldn't put it past him if he was. It would make perfect sense.
For sure.
Awesome session, man. Thank you so much. It's been really cool chatting with you. Like, I just love the energy, man. I love the energy. You've had a crazy story. Like, that's really cool. Like, the kind of stuff you've been up to is like just exciting, right? And so good on you, mate.
I'm a serial entrepreneur at the end of the day. I look for the opportunity and I pursue it. And so I'm really excited about this one. And I'm really excited about all the other additional opportunities that Cardano can allow us to build for the world, and so I feel like I'm going to be in Cardano for a long time. So
Well, yeah, I mean, if you get funded, you're going to have work to do, so you better not go anywhere. Can't afford it. Perfect, mate. Well, listen, whenever you're in London, you let me know. Because I think there's some dim sum in there for us, Definitely.
Love it. Totally taking you up on that, Rhys. For sure.
Mate, do it. Honestly, do it. I've got an SPO coming over from America like next week. And we've already arranged a meetup. We've already arranged it. So,
awesome.
Yeah, definitely, man. Listen, best of luck with everything. If there's anything I can do, anything you need me to help you out with, like you just shoot me a message. Like, let's figure it out. Whether it's like getting on some other spaces, getting on some other guys. You probably don't need much of my help, to be honest.
I think the SPO angle is something I'm going to be hitting you up with shortly, for sure.
Mate, absolutely. You know where I am. I'm always happy to help. Right. Mm-hmm. So let's get it done.
For sure. Appreciate you providing the space for me to speak too, Rhys. Thank you.
No problem. No problem. I had you on my radar, and I just haven't got around to it because it's been so crazy and hectic, and like it's carnage. And Catalyst is actual carnage.
There's a lot going on for sure.
Yeah, I'm really glad you reached out to me because I meant to get in contact with you before, and I just never got around to it. So thanks for harassing me a little bit last night. Late night texting. Listen, man, you enjoy the rest of your day. And for everyone else, check out the proposal below. All right. I'm going to put his old music videos on YouTube when he was a scallywag. It's all going to be there. It's all there.
For sure.
Love it, man. You have a great day. Bro.
Yeah, you too.
See you later. Right, guys, what even was that? Fantastic conversation with Session. I really appreciate him coming on. Sorry it's taking me so long to get this video together, but here it is. Guys, make sure you vote for Session's Project Catalyst Fund 8 proposal. I'm going to link to it down below. DEMU is called. It's an amazing project. They're working super hard on it already. They've been working on it for probably 6 to 9 months or even longer, almost a year at this point. Yeah, a little bit of funding goes a long way, and I'm really looking forward to seeing this come to life. Guys, don't forget, vote for Session in Catalyst Fund 8. That's it for this video. If you like what you've seen, as always, give us a like, subscribe for more Cardano and Stoic related videos every week. Leave any questions or comments you got in the box below. I will, YouTube stuff, guys. YouTube me. And I'll catch up with you in the next one. See you then.